Chosen one, before you scroll away, hear this carefully. There is a woman connected to your path right now who is carrying a burden far heavier than anyone realizes. She smiles when people are watching. She says she's fine when someone asks. She continues showing up, handling responsibilities, and doing everything expected of her. But deep inside, she is exhausted. Not physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. She has been fighting battles that no one sees. And the truth is, she has become so skilled at hiding her pain that most people around her have no idea how much she is suffering. But God sees it. Every silent tear, every sleepless night, every moment she wanted to give up, but somehow found the strength to keep going. Nothing has escaped his attention. And today, chosen one, God is drawing your attention toward her for a reason. This message did not find you by accident. You are not reading these words by coincidence. There is a divine purpose behind this moment. Because God is looking for someone willing to become a source of light in a season where darkness has been trying to overwhelm her. And that someone may be you. Type Amen if you believe God never works by accident. Many people assume that helping someone requires having all the answers. They think they must know exactly what to say, exactly what to do, exactly how to fix the situation. But that is not what God is asking from you. God is not asking you to save her. He is asking you to show up. He is asking you to care. He is asking you to listen. He is asking you to be available when the opportunity comes. Because sometimes a single conversation changes everything. Sometimes one sincere message arrives at exactly the right moment. Sometimes one act of kindness becomes the turning point in someone's life. You may think your role is small. God does not. What seems insignificant to you can become life-changing to someone who has been silently struggling for far too long. Chosen one, there is something different about you. You notice things other people miss. You feel things others ignore. You carry compassion that refuses to look away when someone is hurting. That is one reason God continues placing certain people in your path. Not because you are perfect, not because you know everything, but because your heart remains open. And an open heart is something heaven can work through. The woman God is speaking about may not ask for help directly. In fact, she may do the opposite. She may insist that she doesn't need anyone. She may act independent, strong, unshakable. Yet beneath that exterior is someone desperately hoping that another human being will truly see her. Not the mask, not the performance, not the version she shows the world. The real her, the tired her, the hurting her. The part of her that feels unseen. And chosen one, God may be revealing her to you because He knows you can see beyond appearances. If someone has already come to mind while reading this, pay attention. Do not dismiss that feeling. Sometimes God's guidance does not arrive as a loud voice. Sometimes it comes as a gentle awareness, a quiet knowing, a name that keeps returning to your thoughts, a face you cannot stop remembering, a feeling that someone needs support. Pay attention to those moments. God often speaks through them. Comment 777 if you're still listening. There is another truth you need to understand. Helping her may stretch you. It may require patience. It may require emotional maturity. It may require more compassion than you expected. Because wounded people do not always heal quickly. Sometimes they pull away. Sometimes they become quiet. Sometimes they struggle to trust, not because they reject you, but because life has disappointed them so many times that they have learned to protect themselves. Do not take those moments personally. The walls she built were not created overnight, and they will not disappear overnight either. Healing takes time. Trust takes time. Restoration takes time. God is not asking you to rush the process. He is asking you to remain steady within it. Your consistency may become one of the greatest gifts you offer her. While others come and go, you remain. While others lose interest, you stay present. While others judge, you listen. That kind of presence is powerful, more powerful than most people realize, because people rarely remember perfect words. But they never forget the people who stood beside them when life became difficult. And that is exactly the kind of impact God may be calling you to make. The woman connected to your path has been questioning herself lately, questioning her worth, questioning her future, questioning whether anyone truly understands what she carries. There are moments when she feels completely alone, even when surrounded by people. There are moments when the weight on her shoulders feels impossible to explain. And there are moments when she wonders if things will ever get better. But God has not abandoned her. He has been working behind the scenes the entire time. And one of the ways He works is through people, through conversations, through kindness, through obedience, through ordinary individuals willing to become vessels of extraordinary love. Chosen one, that may be why you are here right now, not to rescue her, not to control her journey, not to become responsible for every outcome, but to remind her of something she has forgotten, that she is not alone. And sometimes that reminder is enough to begin changing everything. Type Amen if you're ready for God's purpose to unfold. There is something else you must understand, chosen one. Not everyone who is hurting will immediately accept help. Sometimes pain teaches people to hide. Sometimes disappointment teaches them to build walls. Sometimes betrayal teaches them to trust no one. And because of that, there may be moments when this woman seems distant, moments when she becomes quiet, moments when she pulls away after getting close, moments when she appears to be doing better one day and struggling again the next. Do not let these moments discourage you. Healing has never been a straight line. Growth does not happen in perfect steps. Some days will feel like progress. Other days will feel like setbacks. But even the setbacks are part of the journey. God wants you to remember that consistency often speaks louder than inspiration. Anyone can show up once. Anyone can offer support for a day. But very few people remain present when the process becomes long. Very few people remain patient when change takes time. Very few people continue caring when they don't immediately see results. That is why your consistency matters. Because every time you choose patience over frustration, you create safety. Every time you choose understanding over judgment, you create healing. Every time you choose compassion over criticism, you create space for growth. And that space may become the very thing she needs most right now. Type 555 if you believe patience produces miracles. There are wounds inside her that nobody talks about. Disappointments she rarely mentions. Prayers she thought would be answered differently. Dreams that did not unfold the way she expected. Relationships that left scars. Moments that shook her confidence. Experiences that caused her to question her value. Many people see her strength. Few people see the battles that created it. Many people admire her resilience. Few people understand the pain hidden behind it. But God sees both. He sees the strength, and He sees the struggle. He sees the courage she displays publicly, and He sees the tears she sheds privately. Nothing about her journey has been hidden from Him, and because He sees her so clearly, He knows exactly what she needs in this season. Sometimes she needs encouragement. Sometimes she needs someone to listen. Sometimes she needs reassurance. Sometimes she simply needs someone who refuses to abandon her when life becomes difficult. Chosen one, never underestimate the power of being that person. Because in a world where many people leave when things become complicated, loyalty becomes healing, and genuine care becomes rare. There will also be moments when helping her affects you more deeply than you expected. You may begin to feel her sadness. You may feel concern for her future. You may find yourself carrying emotions you were not prepared for. When that happens, remember something important. You are called to support her. You are not called to carry her entire burden. There is a difference. Many people become exhausted because they try to take responsibility for what only God can handle. They try to fix every problem, control every outcome, remove every obstacle. But that is not your assignment. Your assignment is obedience. God's assignment is transformation. You provide support. God provides healing. You offer kindness. God restores hearts. You show compassion. God changes lives. Never confuse the two, because the moment you try to become the source, you will become overwhelmed. But when you remain connected to God, you will discover that His strength flows through your weakness. His wisdom fills your uncertainty. His peace calms your fears, and His guidance directs your steps. Comment 444 if you trust God's guidance. There will be days when you don't know what to say. Days when no perfect words come to mind. Days when silence feels more appropriate than advice. Do not fear those moments. Sometimes the greatest gift you can offer someone is not wisdom. It is presence, a listening ear, a caring heart, a safe space, a reminder that they do not have to face everything alone. People often remember how you made them feel far longer than they remember what you said. And your ability to make her feel seen, valued, and understood may become one of the greatest blessings she receives during this season. As time passes, you will begin noticing subtle changes. The woman who once seemed hopeless may begin to smile more genuinely. The woman who once hid her feelings may begin opening up. The woman who once doubted herself may begin believing in her own strength again. The changes may be small at first, almost invisible, but they will be real, and those small victories matter, because every breakthrough begins with a single step. Every restoration begins with a small shift. Every transformation begins with a seed. Do not ignore those early signs. Celebrate them quietly, thank God for them, and continue moving forward, because God is already working beneath the surface, even when you cannot yet see the full picture. Type 333 if you believe God is working behind the scenes. At the same time, God wants to teach you something through this experience. This journey is not only changing her, it is changing you. You are learning patience. You are learning compassion. You are learning emotional strength. You are learning how to love people without trying to control them. You are learning how to support others while remaining grounded yourself. These lessons will stay with you long after this season ends. And one day, you will look back and realize that God was developing your character while you thought you were only helping someone else. This is how God often works. He blesses two lives through one assignment. He heals two hearts through one connection. He grows two people through one purpose. That is why this moment is bigger than it appears. It is not merely about helping a hurting woman. It is about becoming the kind of person God can trust, with greater responsibility in the future. Because every act of obedience prepares you for the next level of purpose, and every step of faith opens a new door. So stay patient, stay available, stay humble, stay connected to God, and most importantly, stay willing. Because the story is not finished yet. There is still more healing ahead, more growth ahead, more understanding ahead, and more purpose waiting to unfold. As this journey continues, chosen one, there is a lesson that many people never fully understand. Real impact is often invisible in the beginning. People expect transformation to happen overnight. They expect dramatic breakthroughs, instant results, immediate change, but that is rarely how God works. More often He works quietly, slowly, steadily, like a seed growing beneath the soil before anyone can see the first sign of life. The woman connected to your path may not immediately tell you how much your presence means to her. She may not have the words. She may not even fully realize it herself at first. But every act of kindness, every moment of patience, every conversation filled with compassion, every time you choose to stay when others would leave, It is leaving an imprint on her heart. And God is using those moments in ways you cannot yet measure. That is why you must never judge your impact solely by what you can see. Faith requires trust. Trust that God is working even when evidence seems limited. Trust that seeds are growing beneath the surface. Trust that your obedience is accomplishing something greater than your eyes can currently perceive. Type 222 if you choose faith over visible results. There may come a moment when she begins sharing parts of her story that she has never shared before. Wounds she buried, memories she avoided, fears she kept hidden, questions she has been carrying for years. When that moment arrives, listen carefully, not to reply, not to correct, not to impress, but to understand. One of the greatest mistakes people make is assuming that every problem requires immediate advice. Sometimes healing begins when someone finally feels heard, not analyzed, not judged, not interrupted, simply heard. For many hurting people, being understood is more powerful than being instructed, and your willingness to listen may become the doorway through which healing begins to enter her life. Remember this: people open their hearts where they feel safe. And safety is created through patience, consistency, and genuine care. The more she experiences those qualities through you, the more she will begin lowering the walls that once seemed impossible to break through. Slowly, carefully, one layer at a time. Because trust is not built through grand speeches. Trust is built through repeated evidence. Evidence that someone genuinely cares. Evidence that someone will remain present. Evidence that someone can be relied upon. And chosen one, your actions are providing that evidence every day. Comment 888 if you believe trust is earned through consistency. As her confidence begins returning, you will notice something beautiful. The woman who once focused only on her struggles will begin recognizing her strength. The woman who once doubted her value will begin seeing her worth. The woman who once believed she was alone will begin realizing she is supported. This shift may seem small from the outside, but spiritually it is enormous. Because hopelessness loses power when hope returns. Fear loses power when courage returns. Confusion loses power when clarity returns. And little by little, the person she was always meant to become will begin emerging again. Not because someone rescued her, but because someone reminded her of the strength God had already placed inside her. That distinction is important. You are not creating her strength. You are helping her remember it. You are not giving her value. You are helping her recognize it. You are not becoming her foundation. You are helping her reconnect with the foundation God has always been. And that is the healthiest form of support there is. Because true support creates freedom. It does not create dependence. True support empowers people. It does not control them. True support points people toward their own growth, rather than making them reliant on someone else. This is why God entrusted you with this assignment. Because He knew your heart was capable of serving without controlling, helping without manipulating, loving without demanding recognition. And that kind of heart is rare. Type 777 if you want God to continue shaping your heart. There will also be moments when you feel tired. Moments when you wonder whether your efforts truly matter. Moments when discouragement whispers that nothing is changing. Be careful during those moments, because discouragement often arrives right before breakthrough. The enemy wants people to quit before they witness the fruit of their obedience. He wants them to become impatient, to become cynical, to become distracted, to walk away too soon. But God is calling you to remain steady, not because the journey is easy, but because it is meaningful. Every meaningful assignment requires perseverance. Every valuable relationship requires patience. Every significant transformation requires time. And the closer someone gets to breakthrough, the more important perseverance becomes. So do not quit. Do not lose heart. Do not allow temporary emotions to make permanent decisions. Return to God. Return to prayer. Return to purpose. Return to the reason He placed this calling on your heart in the first place. Because what God begins, He intends to complete. Comment faith if you refuse to give up. There is another reason this experience matters. It is teaching you how to love with wisdom. Not merely emotion, wisdom. Many people know how to care. Few know how to care wisely. Wise love understands boundaries. Wise love understands balance. Wise love understands that helping someone else should never require abandoning yourself. God never asked you to neglect your own well-being. He never asked you to carry burdens that belong to Him. He never asked you to sacrifice your peace in order to prove your compassion. Instead, He is teaching you how to support others while remaining rooted in Him. How to give without becoming depleted. How to care without becoming consumed. How to serve without losing yourself. These lessons will strengthen every future relationship in your life. And one day you will realize that this season was preparing you for far more than you imagined. Because God never wastes experiences. Every challenge has purpose. Every assignment carries a lesson. Every season contains preparation. And you are being prepared right now. Prepared for greater wisdom. Prepared for greater influence. Prepared for greater purpose. Prepared for greater responsibility. The growth happening inside you is just as important as the healing happening inside her. Never forget that. Because this story was never only about one person. It was always about two lives being transformed at the same time. And the deeper you understand that truth, the more peace you will have as this journey unfolds. There is still more ahead. More healing, more understanding, more growth, more purpose, more moments where God's hand becomes visible in ways you never expected. Stay faithful, stay patient, stay available, and keep trusting the process, because God is far from finished. As you continue walking this path, chosen one, there will come a moment when something begins to shift more noticeably. Not because all her problems suddenly disappear, not because life instantly becomes easy, but because her perspective starts changing. And when perspective changes, everything begins to change. The woman who once woke up carrying nothing but heaviness will slowly begin noticing small reasons to hope again. The woman who once expected disappointment will begin allowing herself to believe that better days are possible. The woman who once felt trapped by her circumstances will begin seeing opportunities where she once saw obstacles. This is one of the most powerful stages of healing, because before lives change externally, hearts change internally. And internal transformation is where every lasting breakthrough begins. Many people want immediate miracles, but God often starts with something deeper. He starts with the mind, the heart, the spirit, because when those areas begin to heal, the rest of life eventually follows. Type 999 if you believe God changes hearts before He changes circumstances. There will be times when she starts showing strength that even she did not know she possessed. You will see her face challenges differently. You will hear confidence in her voice. You will notice courage where fear once lived. And perhaps the most beautiful part is that she may not even realize how much she is growing. Growth often happens gradually, day by day, choice by choice, step by step, until one day a person looks back and realizes they are no longer who they used to be. That day will come for her. And when it does, it will be a testimony to what God can accomplish through patience, faith, and genuine support. But, chosen one, there is something important you must remember during this stage. Do not become attached to receiving recognition. Do not help because you want appreciation. Do not serve because you expect praise. Do not stay because you hope for validation. The purest acts of love are given freely. not because they guarantee something in return, but because they reflect the heart of God. Sometimes the greatest things you will ever do are the things very few people fully understand. Sometimes your most important contributions will happen behind the scenes. And sometimes the reward will not come through applause. It will come through the quiet peace of knowing that you obeyed God when He called. That kind of fulfillment cannot be bought. It cannot be manufactured. It cannot be replaced, because it comes directly from purpose. Comment purpose if you understand that obedience is its own reward. As her healing continues, you may notice that your conversations begin to change. The discussions that once revolved around pain may begin revolving around possibilities. The fears that once dominated her thinking may begin losing their grip. The doubts that once controlled her decisions may begin fading. This is not because the past no longer exists. It is because the future is becoming stronger than the past. And that is what healing does. It does not erase history. It redeems it. It does not pretend wounds never happened. It teaches people how to move forward despite them. It does not remove every scar. It transforms scars into evidence of survival. God is teaching her that her story is not over. And He is teaching you the same thing. Because if you are honest, chosen one, there are areas of your own life that still need healing too. There are disappointments you rarely discuss. There are prayers you are still waiting to see answered. There are questions you have brought before God more than once. And while you have been helping someone else, God has quietly been working on you. That is one of the mysteries of His design. The person sent to encourage often ends up being encouraged. The person sent to strengthen often becomes stronger. The person sent to help heal often discovers healing in places they did not realize were wounded. This assignment has never been one-sided. It has always been shaping both of you. Type 444. If you can already see God working in your own life, there may come a day when she no longer needs the same level of support. A day when she stands stronger, thinks clearer, believes deeper. A day when she begins relying more on her own faith than on external reassurance. When that day comes, do not view it as an ending. View it as a victory, because true success is not creating dependence. True success is helping someone rediscover their own strength. It is helping them become stable enough to walk forward on their own. That is what healthy support produces. Freedom, growth, confidence, maturity. And when you witness those things developing in her life, you will understand why God asked you to remain faithful during the difficult moments. Because every seed you planted was growing, even when you could not see it. Every prayer mattered. Every conversation mattered. Every act of kindness mattered. Every moment of patience mattered. Nothing was wasted. Not 1 second. Not one effort. Not one tear. God was using it all, and He is still using it now. There is another truth you need to carry into the next season. Your purpose does not end with one assignment. This experience is preparing you for future assignments, future opportunities, future connections, future lives you will impact. The compassion you are developing now will serve you later. The wisdom you are gaining now will guide you later. The discernment you are learning now will protect you later. Everything God teaches has future value. Nothing is random. Nothing is accidental. Nothing is wasted. Even the difficult parts are serving a purpose. And because of that, you can move forward with confidence. Not confidence in yourself alone, but confidence in the God who called you, the God who guides you, the God who strengthens you, the God who equips you, the God who never abandons the work of His hands. Comment, I trust God, if you believe He is leading every step. As this chapter continues unfolding, remember these words. You do not need to have every answer. You do not need to control every outcome. You do not need to carry every burden. You only need to remain willing to listen, willing to care, willing to trust, willing to obey. Because God can do extraordinary things through ordinary people who simply say yes. And chosen one, that willingness is exactly why He chose you. There is still more ahead. More purpose, more growth, more wisdom, more healing, more blessings, and more evidence that God has been working all along. Stay faithful, stay humble, stay available, because the story is still being written, and the next chapter may be more powerful than anything you've seen so far. As this season moves forward, chosen one, you will begin to understand something that most people never fully grasp. The greatest transformations are rarely dramatic. They do not always arrive with signs and wonders. They do not always announce themselves with sudden breakthroughs. More often, they happen quietly, one conversation at a time, one decision at a time, one act of faith at a time, and before anyone realizes it, an entirely different person begins to emerge. The woman God placed on your heart is already changing. Perhaps not as quickly as she would like, perhaps not as quickly as you would like, but change is happening. Every day she chooses not to give up. Every day she keeps moving forward despite her fears. Every day she refuses to surrender to hopelessness. Those are victories. Never underestimate small victories. Small victories become lasting transformations. Type 1111 if you believe every step forward matters. There will be moments when she looks back on her life and finally recognizes how much she has survived. The situations that once seemed impossible, the heartbreaks that nearly broke her spirit, the disappointments that left her questioning everything, the battles she thought she would never overcome. One day she will see that she made it through all of them. And when that realization arrives, something powerful will happen. She will stop seeing herself as a victim of her circumstances. She will begin seeing herself as proof of God's sustaining power. That shift changes everything. Because people walk differently when they understand they are survivors. They speak differently. They think differently. They believe differently. And God is leading her toward that understanding. But there is something equally important happening within you. This assignment has revealed strengths you did not know you possessed. You have discovered patience where you once had frustration, compassion where you once had indifference, wisdom where you once had uncertainty. And perhaps, most importantly, you have learned how powerful simple obedience can be. Many people spend their lives waiting for a grand purpose, a massive opportunity, a spectacular calling. Yet God often reveals purpose through ordinary moments. A conversation, a phone call, a message, a word of encouragement, a decision to stay when leaving would be easier. Those moments may appear small on the surface, but heaven measures them differently, because every act of love carries eternal value. Comment: love never fails if you believe kindness has power. There may come a season when the woman you have been supporting begins helping others herself. Think about that for a moment. The person who once felt broken may become a source of healing. The person who once needed encouragement may begin encouraging others. The person who once struggled to see hope may become a messenger of hope. This is how God's work multiplies. One healed life touches another. One restored heart strengthens another. One testimony inspires another. The ripple effect continues far beyond what any human mind can calculate. And chosen one, your obedience becomes part of that ripple. Long after this chapter ends, long after the conversations fade into memory, long after the difficult season passes, the impact remains. Because love always leaves evidence. Patience always leaves evidence. Faithfulness always leaves evidence. And God never forgets a single act performed with a sincere heart. Type 777 if you believe God sees everything done in secret. There will also be moments when the enemy tries to convince you that your efforts were insignificant. He will whisper that you did not do enough, that you should have said more, done more, achieved more. Be careful not to listen to those lies. Your responsibility was never perfection. Your responsibility was obedience. And obedience does not require perfection. It requires willingness. Remember that. Because many people never step into their purpose because they are waiting to become perfect first. But God has never called perfect people. He has always called willing people. People who trust Him despite uncertainty. People who move forward despite fear. People who say yes even when they do not understand every detail. That is the kind of person God uses. And that is the kind of person you are becoming. The journey has not been easy, but it has been meaningful. The path has not been simple, but it has been purposeful. The process has not been comfortable, but it has been transformative. And one day, when you look back on this season, you will understand why God allowed every step, even the difficult ones, even the confusing ones, even the painful ones, because each moment was preparing something greater than you could see. Comment: God's plan is greater if you believe everything is working together for good. As the days continue, there will be a deeper peace settling over both of you, not because every question has been answered, not because every challenge has disappeared, but because trust is replacing fear. And when trust grows, peace follows. The woman who once felt overwhelmed will begin feeling steadier. The woman who once felt isolated will begin feeling connected. The woman who once questioned her future will begin expecting good things again. And chosen one, you will experience something similar. You will become more confident in God's timing, more confident in His guidance, more confident in His ability to work through ordinary people. This confidence is not arrogance. It is faith. Faith developed through experience. Faith strengthened through obedience. Faith refined through the process. And that kind of faith becomes unshakable because it is built on evidence. Evidence that God keeps His promises. Evidence that God answers prayers. Evidence that God never abandons His children. Evidence that God is working even when nothing appears to be happening. Type faith over fear if you are still trusting God's process. There is one final truth you must carry with you moving forward. You were never chosen because of your perfection. You were chosen because of your availability. God saw a heart willing to listen, a heart willing to care, a heart willing to serve, a heart willing to trust Him. And through that willingness, He opened a door for purpose. Never forget that, because there will be future assignments, future opportunities, future people whose lives will intersect with yours. And when those moments arrive, remember what God taught you here. Remember the power of patience. Remember the power of presence. Remember the power of compassion. Remember the power of simply showing up. Most of all, remember that God does extraordinary things through ordinary people who choose to obey. The story is not ending. It is only expanding. The purpose is not over. It is only growing. The calling is not finished. It is only beginning. And the same God who guided you through this chapter will guide you through every chapter that follows. So, move forward with confidence. Move forward with faith. Move forward with courage. Because God is not finished with her, and He is not finished with you either. Type AMN if you receive this message.